Hello and welcome, crafty friends. This is Rachel, Crafting Mama Bear. In today's video I will be showing you how I made this Mickey Mouse shaped wreath using items from Dollar Tree. I used red pipe cleaners, 9 rolls of the red deco mesh, 1 package of the 2 small wreath forms, one of their 14-inch wreath forms, and a bunch of ribbon. I used 2 of the thinner ribbon without wire. Actually, these 2 don't have wire either, but they're larger print. And some of the polka dot burlap ribbon. For tools, I used my rotary cutter, a pair of scissors, and I will also be using some zip ties. So to start off the project, you want to align the smaller wreaths to make the ears for Mickey's head, and you just want to figure out where you want them placed. I'm going to end up using I believe 3 zip ties per ear to anchor them on and make sure that they're not going to go anywhere. So I do have the smaller wreaths overlapping the larger wreath. I just felt like I got a better hold, and I felt like if I attached it this way, where I used the middle wire on the small wreath form and the top wire on the big one, that the ears didn't flop around too much. If you end up attaching it where the bottom wire on the small wreath form and the top wire are touching, you're gonna have to reinforce it a little bit more so they don't flop around. And I actually ended up reinforcing it a little bit more this way because it still didn't stand up the way that I wanted it to, and I will show that later on. But I just found some points that I wanted to attach, and I did use some of the middle brackets, that's what I'll call them, to attach the wreath to each other. So before I get too far into it, the big wreath form has 6 sections and the small wreath forms have 3 sections on there. That ended up being important when I started cutting my ribbon and making my bundles. And right now I'm cutting the zip ties. I would recommend leaving them long until you're completely done. I ended up looking like I got in a fight with a cat because they just scratched me up while I was adhering or attaching my bundles onto it. So learn from me and don't cut those down until the very end. For the 3rd zip tie, I am using a wider one. This is a package of zip ties that you can get from Dollar Tree. The red ones are the smallest one in the package, and then they have, I believe, black and these clear ones. I just thought that maybe I'd get a better hold going with a bigger one. So after I had that done, I started cutting up my mesh, and for this wreath I'm going to be making the tube bundles, and so I cut my mesh. I usually do 6-inch long pieces, but for this one I ended up doing 5-inch long pieces. Because I knew it was going to be a bigger wreath, I wanted to ensure that I was going to have enough mesh, and I did. I bought 9 rolls of the mesh, and I think I used 8.5. For my ribbon, I cut it the same as I do for all of my other wreaths. These larger ones I cut at 9 inches. This burlap one, because it has wire in it, I cut it at 9 inches. And then the thinner ones, I cut those down at 8 inches. And I didn't realize that these two larger red ribbons were not wired when I purchased them. I was a little bummed out about that, but it had a really cute print and I thought it was just kind of whimsical, and the prints on them just looked like something that you might find as decor if you go to Disney. And so once I have all my ribbon cut, I do fishtail the ends of all of the ribbon. For the smaller ones, I flip one end over onto the other and then fold along the long side so I can get both ends cut at the same time. And for the larger ribbon, I fold lengthwise and just make a cut. And keep all of your scraps from your ribbon. I have some ideas on what to do with them. I have a hard time throwing them away because I just think they look so pretty. So I keep a hold of those, and I've got some ideas for some DIY projects that you can incorporate them into. So for the bundles, since I'm doing the little tubes, I'm only going to need half a pipe cleaner instead of a full one when we do the like blossom bundles. And after this, I did end up going and getting a bigger pair of wire cutters because these are from my jewelry making kit, and it isn't cutting it, so. So I've never made a wreath this large, so I wasn't sure what I was doing. So to make the tubes, you're just going to take them, lay them out, and then pinch them in the middle and roll them the way that it already wants to roll. And I'm going to make my bundles using 3 pieces of mesh and then some ribbon. So with the ribbon, I pinch it in the middle to find the center, use half a pipe cleaner, and pinch it on top of my rolled up mesh. So if you cut your ribbon down to the same measurements as I have, I was able to get 12 pieces of ribbon for all of the bigger ones. The smaller, thinner ribbon, there's more on the roll. But so for the big thick red ribbon and the burlap ribbon, I was able to get 12 pieces. To attach your bundle onto your wreath form, I'm just using the center 2 rings on the 14-inch and then the outside rings on the smaller ones. And so this is going to show you, because I get 12 pieces of ribbon from each roll of ribbon, I just added 1 bundle of each one to each section on the wreath form. I hope that makes sense. So earlier I said there are 6 sections on the big wreath form and 3 sections per small wreath form. So it ended up to where I was going to just be able to add 1 to each section. And then I ended up filling up the wreath with just plain red bundles. And how I did that was I did a ribbon bundle, 1 without ribbon, 1 with ribbon, and then 2 without. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And to secure the ears a little bit more, I took some of those jumbo popsicle sticks, cut it in half, and just kind of threaded it through the metal wire form so it stands up a lot better. And you can always paint your popsicle sticks to match the color of your wreath form if that bugs you that they're kind of standing out like that. And I didn't cut down the ends of my pipe cleaners anymore. I just twisted a couple of the bundles together to secure them a little bit more, and then I pushed them down into the wreath form. This type of wreath is definitely a labor of love. I worked on this over, I think, 4 or 5 days. It was just very time consuming. And because of the sheer size of this wreath, I wasn't sure that I was going to add any embellishments, but I had some of these jingle bells in gold and green from the Dollar Tree, and I decided to add them onto all of the polka dot burlap ribbon pieces, and I just alternated the color. So I took a full-length pipe cleaner, threaded it through the top of the jingle bell, and then I just took the pipe cleaner and threaded it around the piece of ribbon that I wanted it to go around. And this, I think, added a really festive holiday touch to it. So here it is on my door. It is huge, but I think it turned out really gorgeous. And I hope that whoever ends up getting this really enjoys it and appreciates how much time I spent making it. But it was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel, and it helps other people find my videos. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and hello to all of my new subscribers, and until next time, bye-bye.